This tone cost me 57 euro. And you're probably thinking, it was made with something like this. Based on a Soldano, 100 watt, all tubes, you know, the real deal. No, you're wrong, you're wrong. All this wall of sound, guitar, bass, and synth layers made with my synth guitar stuff were made using something like this practice amp from the 2000 made by PAVI, transistor, 15 watt, maybe an 18 speaker. I'm not sure. I have to check. I don't want to check. Okay. 40 bucks shipping included. And a clone of an SM57 by Thomas, except the guitar is $2,000. Guitars are expensive, but it's counterintuitive to the point of the video. Everything started because of this video.
This is the secret weapon. This is a PV decade.
We all know the Joshua Me lore about using a decade from the 80s, which is a little practice amp to craft the songs in the album Songs of the Dead. I'm a massive Queens of the Stone Age fan. Joshua Me is one of my inspiration as an artist, as a performer. I'm straight, but damn. But I'm from Italy. You can't find an original decade. If you find one, it's super expensive. The reissue are expensive, in my opinion. We don't know that we pay the name and not the quality. And I'm talking to all brands here, not PAVI. I love PAVI. And also I have to wait something like 6 months to get them because of this new shit here. Okay, so I went for a different model. The thought behind it is simple. 2-channel amp, a clean and a dirty channel. Small and portable and affordable for the young guys. So I bought a Rage 158 and one of my friends lended me a Blazer 158. The first is free, this one is free, this one 30 bucks, shipping included. What I want to do is not saying who's better, okay? I don't give a love both of them. I want to compare them to the Room because there's a difference, but especially if you're a young guitar player that is just starting out with recording, all the legendary guitar tone from your favorite guitar player are made using a mic. So you are hearing the mic. You're not experiencing the guitar through the amp into the boom and the air passing from your balls to your bones. It's not a mispronunciation. It was intended. Balls and bones. So, first in the Room, and then with the same mic, a clone of a 57 by Thomann. This is the PAVI in the Room. It's not loud at all, to be honest. My voice can get louder, but it sounds big and fat. And the right amount of nasty. Let's switch to the Soldano clone. Of course it's louder, it's fatter, it's bigger. But I prefer the sound of the PAVI, to be honest. The difference is, it sounded better before the Soldano. sounds like it sounds worse than the first listen, to be honest. Right here, the difference is obvious. This is louder, fatter, thicker. It has more gain. They are two completely different amps. After you play the Soldano for a couple of minutes, the PV sounds like shit. There's nothing else to say. But after a while, the PV starts to sound good. Starts to sound bigger. And it is timed. I'm on full volume on the lead channel. At the end of the room, the difference is undeniable. Okay, and we are running it through a 1x12 speaker, not something like a 4x12 Mesa that I have in the studio, but I can't use because it isn't mine. The difference is undeniable, but trust me, under the mic is something else. Okay, Fioi, this is the shootout with the 757. Okay, I've lined up the two sounds in the same riff. They will alternating. I won't share with you right now which one it is, okay? You can hear they are two different sounds. This is not the point of the video. Okay. The first one is beefy. Pretty beefy. A lot of low end. The second one is a little bit harsh, cutting. I like it, to be honest. They have the same level of gain, but you are going to be surprised that this one is the PV. Which again is a 15 watt 8-inch speaker, $40 with shipping included, and this one is the Soldano. The feeling is quite the opposite, to be honest, because in the room, the difference was undeniable. The Soldano sounded bigger, fatter, nastier, whatever you want. Under the mic is the complete opposite. I'm pretty impressed with the result. I can see why Josh Homme and other great artists use this kind of amps, to be honest. I wonder what a Line 6 Spider would sound like through a mic. Drop a comment if you want a demo under a mic of a Line 6 Spider. Because I think you can make it sound good with the right mic. And it's just an SM57 in front of the cone at the edge. You know, the usual mic configuration. Nothing weird like instead I did with the bass. And if you want to know how I crafted the bass sound, which is this one. Let me know in the comment section if you want, because I use the same amp. Both guitar, bass, and the synth layer made with the guitars are made with the same amp. It's a nice discovery. And also, I just realized that I spent, me and my friends, to be honest, we spent so much money on big heads, big amps. I don't want to say for nothing, but there's a nice argument against them. But to make sure that this is not just a matter of my taste, I asked a bunch of friends to review the thing. I wanted to invite them to the studio, but they are like 300 kilometers from my studio, so it wasn't manageable. Here's a bunch of my friends commenting this result.
Okay, I'm ready for the PAVI challenge. Let's go. Okay. For me, the biggest soldano is the first. This is my opinion. But remember to follow Pavi and remember that Pavi is single.
Okay, so my friend Pavi just sent me a file and told me something like, hey dude, just take a listen and tell me what you think. So here we are. All I know is that it's kind of a comparison between a small PV amp with a huge Soldano amp, both recorded with an SM57, if I'm not wrong. And he just told me, take a listen and tell me what you think. So I'm gonna listen for the first time live, and let's see what it is. Okay. So it's an interesting take. Of course, the first amp is the PV and the second one is the Soldano. And I would expect like a huge difference, you know, between a small amp with a huge Soldano amp, but they both sound great. I think that the PV has a little bit more mid frequencies, like above the 500 hertz, I guess, and maybe a bit less high frequencies above the 3000 hertz, I guess. So in a mix, I think that it will be a little bit harder to, you know, make the PV one cut through the mix properly. But listen to it alone by himself. It sounds really huge, I gotta say. If I didn't know that it was a PV amp, I would probably say, okay, it's not a Soldano amp, but it's still great, you know, maybe what kind of amp is that? And it sounds great, especially in the high frequencies. It's hard to tell the difference, in my opinion, between a huge amp and a small combo. On the low frequencies, maybe it sounds a little bit muddy, but, you know, with some EQ and, you know, processing, it can be, you know, it can be really great. So, yeah, it kind of proved the point that Pavi was trying to make. So there is a difference, but it's not that huge. It sounds great. So great job.
The point of the video was not to say that that was better than that. I know when to use this one. And I can't wait to record the song with this one because it's amazing. But what I learned from this experiment is the best thing that I can do for my tone is to say yes to weird-ass idea. I still like 100-watt 4x12, especially on stage. It's better than, you know, it's better than that. But we can all jerk off to 4x12, 8x10 by Ampeg, 100-watt add, 200-watt add, whatever the fuck you want add. But at the end of the day, if it sounds good under the mic, it sounds good under the mic. So, especially if you're a young guitar player that wants to experiment with tone, miking up, recording, try something like this. This tone cost me 57 euro. Okay, second point of the video was to promote my song up. And I have to censor the word because that's the problem on the internet. YouTube, have you ever seen what's on the internet lately? Like on Instagram, especially. And is the problem? Go yourself, YouTube. I don't care. Go yourself, YouTube. So stream the song. There's the link in the description. Link in the description even for the Junji, because I used the Junji and the Naide, which is this bass, for the recording. This is my favorite guitar, and that it's starting to become one of my favorite basses, to be honest. Write me in the comment if you want to know more about the song and this experiment. I'm happy to respond to you. And let's see. Ciao. Ciao.
Remember to follow Pavi and remember that Pavi is single.